And my name's Robert Pittman. I go by Rob. Friends and family called me Robbie when I was Robbie when we met. This is John Zeigler, good friend of mine. We've known each other since 1983. He's as good a friend as you can get when somebody gives you a kidney. He gave me a kidney in 2010 after a long, not a battle, but a long trying to get me to concede to get one from him. I'll let him tell a story about him telling his wife when they got married 15 years before that he was going to end up giving me a kidney someday. So.
Yeah, whenever I met Elizabeth, I told her, I said, you're going to need to understand something. A friend of mine needs a kidney, and that'll probably happen one of these days. And she was like, sure. That'd be good.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for Elizabeth and all of his girls.
I think we were probably in high school when you said, hey guys, one of these days I'm going to need a kidney, and we all just kind of went about our business. And so it was pretty early on after you got sick.
Yeah. I had trouble here and there growing up and everything and what have you, and battled it. And of course, when you're high school, you're playing college football and high school football and all that, you think you're invincible and don't think things will ever catch up with you. But they did, and he was there to bail me out the first time, and now I'm needing some help a second time.
If we don't share with one another, then nobody else is coming to help us, So it's something that we need to get right. Share with one another, and whether it be financially or through organ donation or whatever. But it's super important for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it is. Not physically. Certainly there was a recovery period, but I didn't have any side effects or anything like that from the donation. I think I'm pretty normal.
Yeah, I would say you play hockey.
Yeah.
So he played hockey like a month after he gave me a kidney, so he was fine. I would just ask that you look inside your heart if you got that, that giving feeling, or that you want to reach out and make a difference. Not that you're not making a difference in your everyday life, but making a difference in somebody else's life. And I think that, that's what I try to do in education for 30 years, is make a difference. We used to do, John and I used to go around the state and do talks and stuff, and met a lot of people through that and everything. You kind of lose touch with some people, but I've got a lot of, like I said, I've got a pretty good support system home with my family and my friends and what have you that's kept up with me and what have you. So, yeah. First off, I would tell them to get to the nearest clinic to get tested, to get on a transplant list and everything. Follow your direct orders of your doctor. Don't think you can cut corners. Take your medications. Make sure you're eating a healthy lifestyle. That's some of the things that I learned kind of the hard way. I like to eat kind of and everything, but I learned how to tone it down a little bit and everything. But I would just say, if you need a transplant or anything like that, get a hold of your nearest transplant facility and get tested.
I think I remember the two of us sitting around a table with somebody who had just found out that they needed a kidney. And it was him and his wife, and they were looking for some encouragement, and so we invited him over to our house for dinner. We sat down, and you could just see the concern, especially in her eyes, that her husband had already had some medical challenges and was fixing to go through something else. And I just remember Rob and just looking him in the eye and say, hey, everything's going to be fine. Everything is going to be okay. It's going to take some time, but you're going to be okay. And just listening to him to talk to both of them and encourage, and just Rob has a gift of words and how he can talk to people and encourage people. He is so positive, and I remember getting up from that dinner table and just how they had come in deflated, but they walked out and they were just full of encouragement, and here's our next steps. And
he ended up getting a transplant too.
Yeah, he did. He's doing great.
Yeah,
he's doing really good.
Right. We used to email back and forth after that a little bit.
Yeah, he's doing very good. But
we've met a few people that we've just met just to give them some encouragement and stuff throughout the state and what have you.
But if you're going through something like that, everything's going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine, and just know that there are people working on your behalf that are helping you take those next steps. And you may not know what step 3 and 4 look like, but they're coming. And just be encouraged for the day.
And another thing is that you got to be patient, because kidney disease is a slow, progressive disease. It doesn't happen overnight. You can be going along just great for 20 years, and then all of a sudden, it can start to go downhill. But like I said, I started going downhill in 2000, and the doctor told me in 10 years I'd need a transplant. And so about 2010, my GFR dropped, and it was time. I had to get on peritoneal dialysis, and kept getting phone calls from him. He knew that his blood type and everything. He knew that he had the first stage WHIP because of his blood type. Now he still had to go to and do all the other blood tests, and they do typing, and they there's four markers that they test for, genetic markers, and we were 3 of the 4. So some siblings don't even do that. So it's pretty amazing, and how much is it going to cost me? Well, I think the only thing you had to pay for was your initial blood test. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah. Which was
maybe physical.
A physical. Yeah, you have to have a physical. But after that, the majority of it is paid through my insurance. I have really good insurance, so I paid $0 for my transplant last time, and it would be the same this time. And he didn't have to pay any either. So financial would probably be the biggest question. Then the recovery time for somebody that's going through a kidney transplant I was up the next morning and was producing urine and up running around the hospital. They have to go through the middle and blow you up a little bit with some gas, and then his recovery was about a day or 2 longer and everything, but it was not. If you manage your pain, most of the pain is up here because of the air in you and stuff, but they want you to manage your pain. If you do that, it's not that big a deal.
So
it's a big deal, but the recovery's not.
Yeah. We had rooms right next door to each other for our recovery, and like Rob said, he got up the next morning and immediately was feeling.
I could
really
feel
good.
a difference.
Yeah.
I could feel like the toxins had left my body.
We had some friends in from out of town, and they were all ripping and roaring over there, and I was trying to recover. But it was a good time. People going back and forth between the rooms, and it was a good time.
Back then, St. Francis had a kidney transplant, and that's where I received it. That's where we got our operation. So they did away with theirs, and they moved it over to St. John in Tulsa. So that's why I'm dialyzing at St. Francis, but the transplant is over at St. John's, and it's the same doctors that did my first transplant that are over there. Dr. Miller may retire, but there's guys named Dr. Confer that actually took the kidney out of him to bring to me. So I don't live on what ifs. I try to live in the moment. There's times where I get frustrated because of the way I feel after, dialysis takes it out of you. I had to kind of retire before I wanted to, but it is what it is. Try to stay positive, and that's one thing I would tell anybody, if you're donating or need a transplant, stay positive. I mean, it's easy to fall victim to, a victim mentality or going through, transplant what ifs. If you want to donate, step out there on a limb and do something for somebody. I don't think there's a bigger reward that you can do in a life than to give an organ to somebody to keep them living. So, I would really appreciate y'all's consideration to get tested, if nothing else. And if I'm not a match, maybe you can test, and they have programs set up to where you can give to somebody else and somebody can give to me. I'm not too sure about all that, but they can tell you all that. But I'm a big time organ, believer in organ donation, of course. So I think that would be a good thing for anybody.